Hi, I'm Michael here from Big Improvements Tutoring, and I've created a tool with the help of some of the other tutors. We've created a tool that you can use. Such a difference to how your child starts the year. It's sort of the task that you want to do ASAP. It's a January 1 task, or when you next see your child, if your child's living elsewhere, when you next see your child's sort of task, because what we've created here for you is a way that you can break through the normal walls that your child has between you and them. Those walls are normal. You're not the only family that experiences that. And I've got 2 children of my own. I get it. So what we want to do is help you to have a conversation with your child that helps your child reset what their expectations are for this year. What are you looking forward to this year? What do you think will be different about this year? What resources do you have this year that you didn't used to have? That sort of stuff. Except there's ways to do it successfully and there's ways to do it that won't work. And I'd love to walk you through what I've seen from the experience of many, like thousands of other parents who I've seen creating these opportunities for conversation. So your goal here is at the start of the year is to help your child reset and help your child view themselves as they actually are, not as they were. Because usually children will view themselves as they were a year ago or 2 years ago. It's like, well, hold on. 1, you're taller. 2, your skills have come a long way. 3, the things that you used to feel bad about, a lot of those things aren't there anymore. You've changed things, you've tweaked things. But what happens is our kids they'll feel like failures. And it's almost like our kids carry a sense of perpetual, it's like the slumped shoulder thing, a perpetual, life's hard. I'm not good enough. I'm not proud of myself. And it doesn't have to be like that if we can just help them reset at the start of the year. So that's what this video is for you about. It's to show you the how of how to help your child reset. So basically, whenever you're having a conversation with your child that's important, that is about emotions, you don't want to have it face to face. Not going to help, because when your child is face to face with you, they sort of feel your scrutiny and they feel like, it's going to be hard. And that's not what you want. So what you want to do is you want to be side by side. So side by side might mean walking the dog, shoulder to shoulder. It might be driving in the car with your child in the front seat of the car. Side by side might be washing up. Basically, you want to create a situation where your child is beside you and so they're not looking at you eyes to eyes. You want to be aware that what can hinder this sort of conversation the most is when your child fears that you're going to criticize their thoughts or give them feedback on their thoughts. As soon as you give feedback, you've already lost. You've just shut down the openness that was there. So when they're sharing something with you, even if it's not true, it's clearly not true. It's worth just listening and going, oh yeah, yep, yeah, I get it. So you're not actually applying any value judgments to what they're saying. You're being someone who's receptive to what they're saying. And when your child shares with you what their goals are for this coming year, super important that when they share that goal that we don't then step in and micromanage their goals. That's your goal. All right, well, this will be step 1, this will be step 2, and you'll need this, and you'll need to talk to so-and-so. As soon as you do that, they shut down again, and then they're not going to be real with you. So when they're sharing their goals, to just let those goals or those thoughts be goals. Whereas there are times to help our kids to know what the steps are, and then there's other times to just let them dream. So this is an opportunity for them to just, dream and imagine. Something else that's really important is to help our child separate, who they've been last year from who they actually are now, And for that, what happens is our kids get the idea that I am my successes or failures. I am my report card. I am what my school marks were, what my sporting achievements were. I am what my friends say about me. That's just not the case. Your child's here and then they make choices or they have actions, but they are not their choices. They are not their actions. They are not last year's report card. So somehow over the next few weeks to have that sort of conversation with your child to help them separate who they are from what their actions are. It gives them the freedom to create a new sense of, oh, well, this is what this year's going to be like. This is who I'm going to be this year. Makes life easier. That conversation is not a one-time conversation. It's a repeated conversation before it really sinks in. It's also worth modeling to our kids, showing them what it is to have hopes and dreams and aspirations, because often our kids will stop dreaming, stop having goals and aspirations because they had a goal, they had an aspiration, but it didn't succeed, so they stop. I give up. Goals don't work out anyway, so I'll stop having aspirations. We win this by just being vulnerable with our kids and by being real with them and saying, you know what, I had some goals last year that didn't happen. It was this, and this. I feel pretty sad about that. I know there's still hope, but I do feel a bit disappointed. When we're sharing with our kids, don't share with them the high level stuff of, my marriage is hard, or whatever you're facing, or my job is hard, or you don't share the things that will make them feel burdened. You share with them the things that are light, the things that are real, but they're low or medium level. Also, if we can't be vulnerable with our own kids, they won't be vulnerable back to us. Okay, we end up with this situation where we're wearing a facade as parents, and our kids know that. So then they feel they have to wear a facade as well, and people aren't being real with each other. And that doesn't help us achieve the goal of helping our child dream, because what we do is we cease to be a role model when we're not being vulnerable. Okay, one of the things that you'll see a lot of at tutoring is tutors being real with kids about, what they were hoping would happen. It didn't happen. What the disappointments are. And that's just normal. It's part of life. It's part of being real. And that creates the opportunity for your child to actually absorb what you're saying to them, rather than just feel like everything's imposed. But the bottom line is we're at the start of a new year, and this is the time we need our kids to reset how they view themselves, to understand that there are good things ahead, that they have things that are worth pursuing, that they have things that are worth hoping for and looking forward to, because it's almost like a prediction that's self-fulfilling. If our child is feeling optimistic about the year, then they will put in more energy and effort to their goals, and they will succeed. Whereas if our child's feeling pessimistic about the year, or just as bad, is not dreaming about the year and having nothing to look forward to, then they won't. But they won't succeed because they're not putting the inputs in that would cause them to succeed. So another thing to be aware of is that our kids will often view themselves as they were maybe a year or two ago. They lose track of the fact that they're changing, they're growing as people, and it's very easy for them to view themselves as what they were. It's like, no, that was your skills back then, or that was what happened back then, but that's not who you are now. So I guess the tutors and I are giving you this tool. It's an opportunity for you to have a conversation. The thing that will make it easier is we've put together for you to actually create the conversation, because it's easier for you to have a hard conversation with your child with some sort of stimulus. And the stimulus is, let's have a look at what the tutor's message is to you at the start of the year. And this is something that I just encourage you to push through on. Like, no parent that I know gets up and thinks, right, I can't wait to go and be vulnerable with my child and tell them things that I'm not even proud of. We don't as parents want to do that, but avoiding having the hard conversations now means that, we're not putting in what we need to get the result, which is a child who knows how to dream, knows how to have goals, knows how to look forward to a new year with optimism. So I'm doing this with my own two children. I can't wait to see the finished product so that I can actually go and do this with my two kids. And I know it's hard, and I know that everything about parenting is hard anyway. But how you use this tool is up to you. I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm just telling you, here it is. Here's some tips that have worked for others that I've chatted with. And I just encourage you to make the most of this opportunity, because you only get a start of the year once a year, and it's something you really want to take an opportunity for. It's such a prime time to help our kids.